Aloha golfers! Welcome to Golf in the Cosmos, episode number 28. I'm Kevin Ralbovsky. Here we talk all things MacO'Grady and MORAD. So, as you can imagine, I'm back here in my studio, KMR School of Golf, Oahu, Hawaii. If you ever get a chance to visit, come on by. I did have some technical difficulties of late and also a very busy schedule, so this video is slightly delayed, but well worth it. Today's video will come from 1994, myself and MacO'Grady in Palm Springs, California, PGA West, back at the driving range. And at this period, Mac is really suffering from some back pain. And if you don't know, Mac was born with a back condition that sort of shortened his playing career until he had a back fusion surgery, which happened somewhere in the mid to late 90s, and that remedied it. So he had some pain-free golf after the back fusion. But before that, late 80s, early 90s, he was suffering. And he was really playing golf almost exclusively left-handed at this period. So this video will be myself and Mac practicing and training in Palm Springs. And Mac's hitting a lot of left-handed shots. He's also hitting that funny draw crossing the line shot, just to again alleviate some pain from his back, and doing some more CF swings to help that along. So you'll find that very interesting. Mac is working with me very much on my shoulder plane and trying to get my shoulder plane more tilted. This was very much a teaching of this era from him, and he's having me do it by actually just basically dipping down. So, basically from the low posture, which Mac advocated, if you make a full turn and stretch, tendency is to raise up, an inch or two. And to counteract that, Mac actually had me dipping down, which felt like about 3 to 4 inches, and wasn't my favorite swings, for sure. Now, since then, working on shoulder plane, what I learned actually, and this is what more Mac did naturally, is so Mac's posture from the 80s, his shoulders and back were more in protraction, so a little more rounded, and shoulders a little more elevated. And if I keep my right shoulder elevated in the backswing, I will naturally have the shoulder plane more tilted. And if I have my shoulders more relaxed, down away from my back in depression, or down away from my ears in a depressed position, right, then the shoulders tend to turn more flat, right? So shoulders in elevation, back in protraction, right? You'll see my right shoulder stays up and my left shoulder goes down, right? And that gives you that kind of look, right? That's a very nuanced anatomical feature of shoulder plane: protraction and right shoulder elevation, right? That'll get your shoulders in a steeper shoulder plane, right, without having to kind of force down and dip down. So what I didn't like about dipping down is immediately I felt like I had to come back up, right? So I felt like a down and up action, very difficult to time. I always teach and advocated and preferred a more rotary action. And in fact, if you're in a lower posture to start with, which has its advantages, right? Lower posture to start with creates more stability, lower center of gravity, a little bit more explosiveness from that squat position, right? So high center of gravity, you're in a less stable position from tall posture, right? But if you are in tall posture, let's say I'm standing straight up, it does correlate to also another means of creating steeper shoulder tilt. So easier to get the shoulders on a tilted plane if you stood taller. You'll see a lot of modern players with very tall posture. Mac advocated lower posture, and then when I get into the full stretch, full rotation, you'll see as my shoulder and arm starts to stretch to P4, it'll take my posture with it a little bit. And so there'll be a little bit of a raising action. And you'll see this in Mac swing in the 80s. And I'm sure as the videos got more detailed in time with technology, this feature Mac didn't like. So he started to create, a steeper shoulder plane, right? Where that wasn't really an issue in the 80s at all in his teaching. So shoulder plane in this video, and also lag, so right elbow closing the gap to the rib cage. That's a big feature of lag, and this also was very important in this era in MORAD teaching, creating that lag, and so you'll see some of that as well in our discussions. So I hope again you enjoyed this video. Again, in terms of Mac and the teaching, remember this is designed to keep sort of the MORAD method alive. YouTube is a great means to do that, and I see a growing number of followers. So thank you for that, and I hope that MORAD will have a resurgence. And again, remember, Mac is not MORAD. Mac is not the guru. The practice is the guru, right? So you have to find the methodology that works best for you. And I would say in the MORAD scheme of things, the two simplest methods, just again to sort of cover this again if you haven't looked at the earlier videos, there's two very simple methods, models to MORAD. Of course, later MORAD gets much more complicated. But one is simply just having the low hands feeling under the table, both wrists dorsiflex, shaft at P3 a little bit more vertical, a little more down the line at the top, maybe even a little crossing with the driver, and then basically coming down the plane, keeping the hands under the table through impact, keeping the shaft low, coming around on a 180 degree arc, and then right back up through the ball, ear to ear finish, high left elbow, right? That is a very simple model, very good to create speed, very good if your club head has been, or club face has been shut, right? That dorsiflexion, the vertical wrist cock helps neutralize that club face. And then the second system is a simple stick against the ball, right? So I put the golf club or just a stick in general as a reference, stick it against my left hip, right? Hold the club with a strong grip, left hand 45 degrees rotated over, and because the stick is leaning forward, I have a forward press, then it very naturally sets into P2, parallel to the ground, right elbow bends, and now I start my pivot, basically holding the angle, and then I pivot right back down. So it's a turn back, and then you unwind and shift your weight, and that's transporting the angle down, your hands down, and your right elbow down, right? Get to the release point, P6, the wrist uncock, then the left knee straightens, come back around, right back up again, right? So basically, one is the low hands and the vertical wrist cock, and basically a simple turn and turn right around a fixed center. The other one has a forward press, shaft against the hip feeling, right? It's more of a set, then a turn, a little more weight shift, and then boom, release it and lean back, throwing the ball up in the air. Right, so those are your two most basically simplified MORAD methodologies. Definitely good to explore, and remember, not one thing fits everybody. So on that note, I'll let everybody enjoy the video. Hope to see everyone next week. Remember, like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment, and thanks again for your support. Aloha!
Okay, now when I shift. Okay, one more. I shifted. I'm right here.
Well, what happens is when you take your waggle, you tend to shift that way a little bit.
Okay, you come here. Take a sense.
Okay. I'm trying to get your knees right on the camera line.
Come take a look here. I'll show you what I'm doing here.
You want to move the camera?
It's just fine. Okay. See the back of my left wrist? Just what I'm trying to do is just flip this thing right here like this. That's how Hogan played. Yeah, my only backswing I have is to flip my wrist. Now I feel these has to take a look over there. Right. Pretty good, huh? Last time I tried to spring from P6, P7, P8. What I'm trying to do is get my right knee flexed, I'll get down to P6, then straighten out, right leg, get my hips turning, get my upper part of the body throw backwards. That one felt the best so far. From P1 up to P3, go ahead and increase your knee flex as you come down to the ball. to maybe
Which
30 degrees.
Which knee?
Left knee. Take a practice swing. Go top of your swing. Right. Now, go ahead and stay there and come all the way down to P6. Then once you, okay. Move the butt of the club back a little bit towards your right leg, okay. And then from there, straighten your leg out and bring your torso, go backwards and sideways and up. Now stay right there for a second. Stay there, don't move. Bring it up to that point. Go ahead. Okay, perfect. Okay. Hit the ball only 50 yards. So now if you feel you're going to drop kick it because you go down so far, go ahead. Okay. Now, just make sure you transfer your weight on your left side in the downswing, or bring the radius a little bit more that way. You get it?
Yep.
That would look like this. Now see, if you got the lag and you bring the butt of the club in, that brings the radius on top as well. If the club loses the leg too early. There's like 3 ways to control that radius. One is by your momentum transfer going left. Got that?
Yep.
Second thing is taking your butt of the club and having a real deep leg. That means the shaft's up here like this and just dropping that way. That far. You get it? So if it drops
like a Hogan
here, right, brings the butt in deeper. Easy to bring the club right on top of the ball. Third thing is you come out of your tilts over there.
How about right elbow?
Yeah,
Right elbow gets in there.
Then close it again. But and there's one other way you can control that also is by going backwards with your tilt. Like this. Go down. Back and then forward. You get that?
Yep.
You're going to come back here and bring your tilt this way, here. And then once your legs and everything, your torso straightens out, all your weight's left. Show practice. Yowzin. Any more to your left. Okay. Club you hitting?
6 iron.
What?
6.
Okay. That last one looked the best so far. Make sure your upper part of the body, watch, goes, the lower part of the body goes left, upper part of the body goes right and backwards to control that radius. The club in. Right. And all your weights to the left at P9.
A little bit more to the left.
What?
A little bit more. That's it. Perfect. Never seen your swing look like that.
Ready?
Yep. A little bit more to the left. There you go.
Is that flat crossing?
Yep.
What?
That was really crossing.
That was crossing?
Yep. Super cross. John Daly almost. A little more to the left. There you go. I need you to aim about 2 inches to the left.
Aim left?
Yeah. You need to go 1 inch more to the left. There you go.
Got it.
You need to aim a little more to the right.
What?
Sorry, you need a little bit, 1 inch more to the right. Yep, perfect. Mm-hmm.
The 8th, 1999, 94. Hold on a second. I'll show you go down again, right? Okay. Ready? Yep. 1001, 1002, 1000. We go 1001, 1002, 1000. Okay. Okay, that was better. You just saw a little gap in your knees, between your knees. Hit one here. Seems like perfect unit fraction. Okay. A little bit more over the waist in the dress. And a little more left. Okay.
I'm going to try to shift this one to the left.
Do it again, aim, do it again, aim just to, excuse me, just bend over a little bit more from the waist. Go to P2. You go up to P4. And bring the butt of the club 10 inches outside of P6. And that'll bring the elbow back inside. Move the shaft a little more square to your plane line. Out, 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 right there. Guys, see your elbow now? See how the elbow's back in? Go up to P4. Bring it out down 10 inches outside of P6. Back up to P4. Bring the shaft inside your stance line at P6, but have the shaft 2 inches on top of your right thigh. That's 4 inches. Okay, go back up to P4. Okay, bring the shaft, keep your hips closed, shoulders closed, bring the shaft 2 inches on top of your right thigh at P6. Okay? See, now what you do there, still not move ordinarily what you do there, so you don't bring your elbow that far in. Back. Back up to P4. Bring the shaft down to P6. Alright, 2 inches away, back up again. Bring it 10 inches out this time. Right? And then you have the spacing there, then you go left, or whatever. Like that. If you get the shaft farther out of P6 here, it'll be more easier for you to control the radius than if you get to bring it back in here like this. Then it goes and goes too far behind the ball. Then you radius out.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I mean, bring the shaft out at P6. Okay. Right, now watch. Now just pivot left and hit the ball. See? See how the trajectory went up higher? All right. One more. Ready?
Ready?